Hi, I'm Todd Orchide, CEO of GTL Real Estate. If you found this video, chances are pretty good that you've been looking around for a property manager, or you're at the least curious about the idea. So what should you be looking for when you hire a property manager? First, experience matters. This is true in everything in life. Knowing the best way to do things and knowing how to keep yourself and your clients out of trouble is all learned by years of experience. While property managers in the states we do business are required to be properly licensed as real estate brokers, the unfortunate reality is that state training curricula do not talk much about property management. The average real estate broker knows very little about being a landlord, much less about how to manage properties for other people with complicated trust fund laws and everything else that goes with it. Experience is needed. So how do you judge whether someone has sufficient experience? It's not all about the years they've been managing property, although that certainly factors in. For example, someone could have been in business as a property manager for 10 years. That sounds pretty good, right? But what if they only manage 50 properties? The company that's been in business for only 5 years, half the time of the other guy, but manages 500 properties, has much more overall experience. That's why the National Association of Residential Property Managers, NARPM, measures minimum experience for their designations by using a metric called unit years of experience. In other words, the number of units managed multiplied by the number of years they've been managing property. Using this measure, it's pretty easy to see that the guy managing 500 units for 5 years is far more experienced at property management than the guy managing 50 units for 10 years. Someone who manages a lot of units over a decent amount of time gets to see a lot of crazy things, spends a lot of time in court defending leases, and learns a lot along the way. This is very important for you as a landlord. Look for the manager with many unit years of experience. That leads us to the next thing to look for. Look for a property management company that manages a good number of units. I know some of my friends out there in property management who have small companies might take offense to this, but I think it is important. Think about this situation. You're a property owner who's hired a manager to manage your very nice rental property. It's a small management company managing only 75 units, let's say. So the owner of that company is a one-man show. He does it all. He leases the properties, he arranges for maintenance and repairs, he collects the rent, and so on. Some of you are probably thinking, that sounds great. One person to talk to who will give me personalized service. Big mistake. You hire this guy to manage your property and he goes on vacation to Brazil. He's a one-man show, so nobody's at home watching the store. He's probably made arrangements with another agent he knows to do showings of the vacant properties while he's gone, but otherwise, he's just checking his email and voicemail once a day when he gets back from relaxing on the beach. But what happens when the water heater ruptures at 8 a.m. and the tenant is frantically calling and reaching no one? Water is flooding the house and damaging your expensive hardwood floors. And that one-man show is getting a tan on the beach in Brazil. He'll get those dozen voicemails from a panicking tenant that evening when he finally gets back to the hotel and checks his messages. Sound good? I certainly don't think so. By contrast, how does that situation look with a larger company like ours? Well, because we manage hundreds of units, we have a lot more resources at our disposal. Not only do we have full-time staff members who are here, even when I'm not, but we also have things like a 24/7 repair hotline. If someone's water heater breaks at 3 a.m. on Christmas Day when our office is closed, no worries. The call center is always open, and they'll take that call and immediately dispatch an emergency repair vendor to get that water heater fixed and that water cleaned up from your beautiful hardwood floors. This is something a one-man show with a small number of properties under management simply can't provide. It's just too expensive, and he doesn't have the available resources to provide it. So while personalized service from a small-time operator might sound good at first, the reality is that your property is in much better hands with a larger company. Now that said, bigger isn't always better. A company that manages 200 units is just as capable of dealing with this sort of situation as a company that manages 2,000 units. The key is to hire a company that's big enough to have multiple staff members to provide things like a leasing hotline and maintenance hotline. This will ensure that your property is always being well taken care of, even when the owner of the company is on vacation or, heaven forbid, in the hospital. These things do happen, and your rental property and your tenant don't want to just go on pause when they do. Third, look for a property manager who is a member of NARPM, the National Association of Residential Property Managers. I can't overstate how important this is. Constantly learning, networking, and honing your trade is essential. You want a property manager who values this kind of continual learning, and that's what NARPM represents. Managers who are members of NARPM attend conferences, local luncheons, and attend continuing education classes and even earn designations. Most importantly, NARPM members are required to abide by the NARPM Code of Ethics. You can read this Code of Ethics on the NARPM website at narpm.org. I'm sure it goes without saying that you want an honest and ethical person managing your property. Fourth, look for a property manager that is staying current on the latest industry technology. Remember, tenants tend to skew to a younger demographic, and as we all know, younger people are always more in tune with technology, and they expect companies to stay up to date. There's a reason that the average millennial has apps on his phone for Lyft and Uber, but probably can't even remember the last time he hailed a taxi cab, if he ever has. These tenants expect the same from their landlord. They don't want to do things the old-fashioned way and go down to the office to fill out an application on paper, pay rent using a check, or call someone to submit a repair request. They want to get on their phone and take care of these things on their time, at their convenience. This is all possible with a property management company that utilizes the latest technology. But if your property manager is still stuck in the past, doing things the old-fashioned way, they're going to have a very hard time attracting tenants. This means your property sits vacant for longer, and once it's rented, you might not have the best tenant. Look for a company that has the latest technology, such as online tenant applications, e-signatures for contracts, online tenant and owner portals for making payments, and looking at their ledger, and so on. Finally, look for a company that takes watching after your money and your investments very seriously. I have an entire video on this that you may want to watch, but ask the property manager if they have an outside accounting firm auditing their books. This is important. It's how you know your money is being safely guarded. Ask them how they handle security deposits. If they say they just send the money to you, this may sound good at first, but it's a big red flag. Security deposit disputes are the biggest sources of lawsuits in real estate. And the person to get sued will be you, not the property manager, because you're the owner of the property. You want a property management company that is almost paranoid about those security deposits. They need to be kept in a special account designated at the bank as a trust account until the tenant vacates the property. Insurance is another key thing to ask about. Any solid management company should have a general liability insurance, professional liability insurance, and workers' compensation insurance. This isn't just to protect the management company, it also protects you. If an employee of the management company trips and falls on your property, you want to know that they're going to be covered by the company's workers' compensation policy, and not come looking to you to pay for their medical bills and lost wages. Okay, that's my top 5 list of things to look for in a management company. Obviously, this isn't an all-inclusive list, and I'll talk about many other things in other videos, but these are the big ticket items. If you ask about these things and get the right answers, chances are pretty good that it's a solid company who will take care of your property. You'll notice some big things I did not mention. I never mentioned pricing. I never mentioned Yelp reviews. I never mentioned how flashy their marketing materials are. Don't get distracted by these things. They do not matter. And in our next video, I'll spend some time going over the things not to think about when hiring a property manager. Before I close out, you're probably asking how our company measures up to these criteria. So I'll give you a quick rundown. Number 1, experience. This year marks our 11th year in business, and we currently manage about 400 properties. Do the math, and that's a whole lot of unit years of experience. Number 2, the size of our company. We have 10 full-time staff members, which includes our office staff and leasing agents who work out in the field. We have a 24/7 maintenance hotline and leasing hotline. Number 3, we've been members of the National Association of Residential Property Managers for years. While some companies just have one person, usually the broker signed up as a member, I have every single staff member at my company signed up. Every person you talk to at GTL Real Estate is a NARPM member and bound by the NARPM Code of Ethics. Number 4, we're always staying up to date on technology. Not only do we use everything I mentioned earlier, but we are also currently testing cutting-edge technology like an artificial intelligence chatbot to speak with tenants on our website 24/7 to answer their questions. We take technology very seriously. And finally, number 5, we utilize an outside accounting firm to audit our books on a monthly basis, and we maintain 3 different state-registered trust accounts with Bank of America for all tenant, owner, and sales money. So if you're looking for someone to manage your property, please let us know. But it doesn't have to be us. There are many other great companies out there who meet these criteria. Just be sure to ask these questions and get the right answers to them, and your property should be in good hands. If you have any questions about this or anything else, please don't hesitate to contact us at support@gtlrealestate.com.